Welcome back to the EdgeVerse TechCast, your home for all things NXP software, tools, and enablement. But today's episode is extra special. This marks 1 full year of the EdgeVerse TechCast, and instead of diving into a single release or feature update, we wanted to pause, zoom out, and reflect on something big, and that would be the future of microcontrollers.
That's right, Bridgette. And for a milestone like this, we couldn't think of a better guest. We're joined by Cristiano Costello, and he has been a driving force behind NXP's MCU strategy and the portfolio evolution. He's someone who we all know shaped not just the products we talk about on this podcast, but the direction of all the platforms and solutions that we're building on for our customers.
And on a more personal note, I was hired about 4 years ago to support microcontroller marketing for Cristiano's organization. So for me, this conversation feels especially meaningful. Cristiano, you've been such a huge influence on the MCU journey at NXP, and it's really an honor to have you here for our 1-year celebration episode.
Cristiano also just happens to be my boss's boss, and so there's no pressure on me today to deliver. But in all seriousness, Cristiano, we're excited to step back from our day-to-day and talk with you about where you think MCUs are heading. Thanks for joining. And before we dive in, we'd love for you to introduce yourself to the audience.
Sure. Thanks, Kyle. Thanks, Bridgette. I'm Cristiano, as you already said multiple times, and I lead the product management and ecosystem for microcontroller in NXP. It has been a long journey for me, a lot of changes, and I will be happy to share them during this podcast.
Cristiano, we're going to give you an easy one to start. When you're at home, you're talking to your kids or your parents or friends outside of tech, and they ask what you do for a living. How do you explain it to them in simple terms?
Well, I think my family still doesn't really know what I'm doing for a living. But I had a kind of breakthrough a few years ago with my nephew. At that time, I gave him a present for Christmas, and at that time, I was working with a big toy company on something that I cannot exactly say for confidentiality reasons, but let's say it was a kind of racing car with AI and smart things inside. So I gave it to him, and I told him, you see this car? Well, I designed the controller inside that. And yes, I was the hero, the one that solved the problem. I think he believed I designed the entire toy, but not really true, but close enough. On the other side, my mom thinks I design mobile phones. My friends, probably they think I work on washing machines. And in total honesty, they are all more or less right. What I do is I work in defining microcontrollers. That is the brain, the intelligence behind almost everything around us.
So, Cristiano, you bring a very unique vantage point, and we're very lucky to have you on the episode. You've seen how NXP's MCU platforms have evolved, and you were the key member of deciding how they did. So what have been the key milestones or inflection points in that journey with our MCUs?
I would like to take a broader perspective on your question, Kyle, that is really looking how the microcontroller evolved. I started working on micros long time ago, almost 30 years. And it means that I'm old enough I can complain about almost everything. I started working on 4-bit microcontroller, even 4 bits, and then 8. And that time programming means that you wrote in assembly, like real assembly. You had to read the documentation like 3-4 Bibles, and nobody reads documents or instruction sets anymore. You had to understand the register, memory maps, and all the ugly stuff inside the chip. So it was not really writing code. You need to be a chip whisperer to make it work. One of the biggest inflection points for me has been the availability of knowledge. Today, if you have a problem, there is a very high chance that somewhere, someone already solved that problem and posted somewhere. That completely changes how fast people learn and they can build stuff. The second big shift for me is the speed. Leader of the past disappear. I work with Nokia, Motorola, Sony, Ericsson. In mobile phones, there are nobody. They all disappear. A new leader appeared. And what was super advanced stuff now is common, is commodity. Now we expect performance, security, connectivity everywhere. Our customer moves very fast. Software moves fast. We have expectations that are growing. So the real inflation for MCU portfolio and NXP has been realizing that it's not just a matter of having good silicon or better silicon than competition, but how do we keep up with this acceleration in the ecosystem, software reuse, so that we can turn ideas in reality faster.
And that's what we're here for the TechCast, so that's perfect. And now, Cristiano, over the past few years, what advancement in MCUs has created the most excitement to you, either inside of NXP or from a customer? Is it AI, ML at the edge, open standards, security, something else?
The biggest source of excitement, and I would say tension, is that right now everything is becoming mobile, portable, battery operated, intelligent. So customers want devices that are always on, always intelligent, insanely capable, but also they don't take much power, like they drink as much power as a butterfly.
I don't want to recharge my device every 20 minutes.
Yeah, you don't want to walk around with a pair of smart glasses with a power cable attached to that. But you want the performance, the AI, the connectivity, the instant response. So the real challenge and the excitement is finding this balance. There is also another big tension in what we do, that is software and openness around software as well. We love open source, we love modern software frameworks. They are great for innovation and speed. The irony is that one bad line of code can easily cost you 10% of power efficiency. To recover in hardware in silicon 10% can take months, years, or forever. So it is a very intense process. We are constantly balancing reuse, simplicity, sharing on one side, and performance on the other side.
That was great, Cristiano. There are so many advancements in the MCU. It's hard to pick one, but I'd say the low energy mobile applications, they've really accelerated what the MCU has to do and everything that your team has to account for. With that being said, and without disclosing anything that we can't share for competitive reasons, where do you feel that NXP's microcontrollers are uniquely positioned? What have we done in the past that's put us in a great position and customers are very happy with the products that NXP's delivered?
That is a good question, Kyle. And I will try to be very careful in what I say and don't say. If I look to big trends, robotic, wearable, AI, intelligence at the edge, these trends are clear. And the devices are getting smarter, more connected, more autonomous. What is not clear is how these things will evolve, but it is clear that these trends are there. And NXP comes from a strong background in automotive, industrial infrastructure, sometimes even mobile, where security, safety are not features, they are table stakes. So this is part of our DNA. At this moment, we have built one of the most powerful and power efficient MCU portfolio. And that combination really matters. Customers don't want to choose between performance, efficiency, connectivity, and trust. They want all of them at the same time. So our differentiation isn't just raw compute, just AI, or just connectivity. It's really putting these things together.
All right, so you talked a little bit about the portfolio now and what we're doing to differentiate. When we look ahead 3 to 5 years, what excites you the most about where MCUs are going? What makes you excited and keeps you from sleeping at night?
Normally I sleep very well.
Good.
What excites me the most is that we are at the verge of another inflection point. I've lived through few already. We went from reading massive manuals to searching online, and now we are entering a world where AI actually will help us to build stuff. I don't think they will replace what we do, but they will make our life easier. You can see this evolution directly in microcontroller. To achieve this goal, that means also our micros are becoming much more efficient and the system are getting smarter, autonomous, more capable. Just to put in perspective, the first real microcontroller was 1971 with the famous Intel 4004. By the way, it was invented by an Italian, so just a quick note. That first micro delivered an impressive 0.05 DMIPS, 0.05. Our smallest microcontroller today is 50 DMIPS. So DMIPS is a measurement of performance. So in 50 years, we had an improvement of 1,000 times in 50 years. But this acceleration is really getting faster now. We will not wait another 50 years to have another 1,000 times improvement. And also how we code is another big inflection point, that we go from machine code to assembly to C, and now we are moving towards describing an intent. The system, the problem, the behavior, and then magically something will happen. That might sound a little bit futuristic, but in some cases this is already happening. Combining this increased intelligence of microcontroller and this disruption in how we write code, that is really exciting.
Yeah, I see our teams working on that right now, Cristiano. The direction that our teams are going is to enable the software development with all these new ways of coding, whether it's AI, whether it's something like Rust, some new languages that are evolving to simplify the actual software design.
Very well put, Kyle.
But then at the same time, our microcontrollers continue to get more powerful, more features, more speed, connectivity, security. So the complexity is ramping up just as much. Quite a challenge for all our developers. Cristiano, this has been a great conversation. We're really happy that you were in town and you were able to spend some time with us. It was great to record a podcast with all of us in the same room.
Yes.
Which is very unique.
Very nice.
Yep. Also, for our listeners, it's great to have someone in your position within NXP to show that complete understanding of the microcontrollers. You shared some really great insight. I think our listeners will appreciate all that you shared with us today. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here.
And personally, it means a lot to have you join us for the 1-year celebration episode.
1 year.
This podcast has been all about enabling developers and shining a light on the work happening across our ecosystem. And that work ultimately starts with the strategy and the portfolio direction you and your team define. So big thank you for the time to be with us in person today.
First of all, congratulations for the 1-year anniversary. That is a big milestone. And thank you for the invitation. It has been a pleasure to join you and reflect on a few things, and also to share my perspective. What I love about this podcast is that connects strategy to developers, to tools, to real world impact. That bridge is incredible. So thank you for what you're doing, and I'm excited to what is coming next.
We appreciate that, Cristiano. It means a lot coming from someone like yourself, and we'll continue to do our best to deliver.
That's right. And to everyone listening, thank you for being part of this journey with us. 1 year down, and we're just getting started.
And if you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe, share this with your colleagues, and stay tuned in. The Intelligent Edge isn't slowing down, and neither are Bridgette and I.
And we'll see you on the next EdgeVerse TechCast.